Shalom. Let me see if this. Shalom. Shalom. God. Let me see if I can edit the title now. There will not. There will not. Salaki. There any Jacob's trouble. Okay. Let me get to my precept. Alright. Oh, this split. Can I split screen? Can I? Alright. Alright. Can we ready? So, Shalom. Shalom. I want to begin the lesson off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Makakwadash. Double blessings and honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth through the spirit and power of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Back here with another lesson, with a live lesson, through the spirit. So I was watching the elder Manatazakba's live lesson. What was this, like hour or so ago? And he put up this comment, and it was basically what his lesson was on. And so took a screenshot of it like other brothers. The spirit guided me to do a lesson on it. So this comment, it reads, or Salakia. So I'm gonna read this comment, bring out some precepts, and Lord willing, the lesson to be edifying to you all out there watching and listening. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the comment from Rickamo Bennett 6839, and it reads, "Family, be at peace. There will not be any Jacob's trouble. We are done with our punishment. Jacob's trouble is for those who trouble Jacob. Be at peace, family. Jake is really, really funny and silly, man. Because in the scriptures, there is no, there, there is nothing that speaks of there not being a Jacob's trouble. I just wonder where whoever wrote this found this in a book, because it's not in there. There is nowhere in the Bible where it says there will not be a Jacob's trouble. First and foremost, we have to go through Jacob's trouble in order to get to the kingdom. And I say that because there's nothing that comes there. Basically, there's nothing good that comes without going through, you know what I'm saying, something bad. And I always say this. This is my favorite quote. You pray for rain, you have to deal with the mud too. So you can't hope for something good. You think that through all the wickedness on the earth from our people, as well as the so-called white man, Esau, Edom, they just get to go unpunished and go into the kingdom of heaven. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. So I'm gonna be breaking this down. What? I don't even know why it's just doing this. The fuck? It's lucky. I don't know why that just did that. But I'm gonna be breaking this down and pulling out the precepts. So let's get into it, man. First, I want to start off with this. This is Revelation chapter 22 and verse 18, and it reads. This is in the, I have a split screen, a KJV on the left and NLT on the right. It says at the top, "For I testify unto every man that heareth the words of the prophecy of this book. If any man shall add unto these things, the Most High Power shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book. And if any man shall take away from the words of the book of this prophecy, the Most High Power shall take away his part of the book of life, and out of the holy city, and from the things which are written in this book." So, let's go back to his comment. There will not be any Jacob's trouble. Starting there. You're taken away from the book, because it does indeed talk about Jacob's trouble in Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 7, which we're going to get to. We are done with our punishment. If we were done with our punishment, we would be in a new covenant. We would have new bodies. We would be in the kingdom of heaven. We wouldn't be able to get sick. There would not be any more killing. I could go on. We're still under the curses. You still have to go to your job. You still have to pay for food and water and the essentials. You still have to pay taxes. The list goes on. If we weren't under punishment or under the curses, we wouldn't have to do all of those things. And then you add it on. Jacob's trouble is for those who trouble Jacob. Again, where do it say that in the book? Where does it say that at? Jake, I don't know, man. Jake just likes to hear themselves talk or something. I don't know. They're very foolish. Very foolish. I'm going to go ahead and go into it, man, because this is really what the lesson is about. So now I've got that out the way. This is Jeremiah 30 and verse 5. Actually, Salaki, let me go back. So yeah, that dude who added and took away from the book, it's okay. Like we just read, all those plagues in the book shall come upon you. The Lord is going to deal with you and handle you accordingly. And as it reads, it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of living power. Yahweh Al-Shadia. So let's read. I'm going to start at verse 5. And actually, let me show y'all the heading of this chapter. Deliverance from captivity promised. We have not been delivered from captivity yet. We're still in the land of our captivity. But let's go ahead and read it. So like, for thus saith Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. So he's telling us to be at peace. And you see everything that's going on around the earth. It's not a time to be at peace. It's time to be sober. It's time to be a watchman, paying attention. Ask ye now, and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. So let's get that in the NLT real quick. This is what the Lord says. I hear cries of fear. There is terror and no peace. So we hear, you know what I'm saying? The people are somewhat weary. We've seen some people are fed up with Babylon the Great, America. The people are starting to see that the world is getting no better. And people are starting to become afraid. But you're going to hear real crying and fear and no peace and trembling when Jacob's trouble comes, which we haven't gotten to that yet. Now let me ask you a question. Do men give birth to babies? Then why do they stand there ashen-faced? Very pale with shock, fear, or illness. And when I think of that, I think of the movie Leave the World Behind with Ethan Hawke. When he was pleading and begging to his neighbor, he said, I am a man, I'm just trying to protect my family and all of these other things. He became real soft and feminine when shit started going down. You know why? And I can't even say it's because he wasn't prepared, which he wasn't prepared. But even if he was prepared, it still wouldn't have helped him. But he was in the dark because he didn't know what was going on. Everything was going smoothly for them. They was on vacation. Everything was going like a normal day. Then, just like that, shit flipped. And that's how it's going to be in real life, man. The tables are going to turn really quickly. Then why do they stand there ashen-faced, hands pressed against their sides like a woman in labor? And it reads that throughout the scriptures, man. When the time of calamity and trouble comes, all those tough guys are going to turn into bitches. And it reads, this is verse 7, and the point. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So, let's read an NLT before I go to my first precept. In all history, there has never been such a time of terror. It will be a time of trouble for my people, Israel. So, we just read it right there. A time of trouble for Israel, for all Israelites, from the northern kingdom to the southern kingdom. We are done with our punishment. Jacob's trouble is for those who troubled Jacob. I don't see that anywhere on the page. I don't. Jacob's trouble is for Jacob. Why is it for Jacob? because of all the wickedness that they've done. It will be a time of trouble for my people, for my people, for my people Israel. So like, yet in the end, they will be saved. So let me get this real quick. Okay. Doing good. So let me get this. So, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. I'm about to get a precept that's going to hit on that. Daniel 12, the time of the end. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. Who is the children of thy people? Who is the Lord's children? Israel. Negroes, natives, and Latino people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. Now let's just stop right there. Who will be delivered? Who are those who are written in the book? The elect. The only people that are going to have salvation. The 144,000, the first fruits, followed by the 1/3. Those are the ones who are going to be saved. But the rest of you wicked ass niggas like this who put comments up like this, are going to be destroyed either in Jacob's trouble or during the second death. Scoffers like you're going to have stripes. You're going to get stripes on your back. And I'm not even going to read down. Let me see. I can just go to my next precept. Let me go back. Actually, so like Jeremiah 30:7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. So I'm going to go to my next precept. This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 20. And it reads, But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. So we're coming upon a time that is going to be filled with so much trouble. It's going to surpass any event ever in history, ever, forever, ever. So that means slavery, or so like, I don't mean to say slavery because that's a broad general term. Transatlantic slave trade, to us being over here in America, getting chopped into bits and pieces, and skinned alive, set on fire, hanged on trees, our privy members cut off, made into chairs and shoes and books, and taking our hair and stuffing it with animals, or making stuffed animals and belts, all of those things. Not even going to compare to Jacob's trouble. Right? Having our hands chopped off. castrating us, buck breaking us, all of these things were done unto us. It's going to be worse than that. Okay? In verse 22, except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Why will the days be shortened? Remember, I just told you all the things that happened in the past. Jacob's trouble is going to surpass those things. It's going to be so brutal that if the Lord didn't shorten the days, no one would survive. Literally, everyone on the earth will perish. Now, let me get this in NLT. And pray that your flight will not be in winter or on the Sabbath, for there will be great anguish than at any time since the world began, and it will never be so great again. In fact, unless that time of calamity is shortened, not a single person will survive. But it will be shortened for the sake of the Most High Power's chosen ones. So, this just some of the things that's going to come upon the earth during Jacob's trouble. Martial law. FEMA camps. The MOTB. Famine, death, destruction, natural disasters, earthquakes, pestilences, anarchy, all of these things. You could look at all the different end time movies, and it's not even gonna compare. I mean, it gives a good depiction of not even a fraction of what's gonna happen. But yeah, man, that's just some of the things that's gonna come upon the earth. Robot dogs, robots. Yeah. Yep. That's going to be the time where the Lord is going to try his chosen. You know? He's going to try us. That's the ultimate test. Either you're with the right-hand side or you're with the left-hand side. The right-hand side being righteousness and the left-hand side being wickedness. And if you take that mark, you're bound down to the beast system. You're going with the left-hand side. But the hopeful elect, Lord willing, we be of that number, we want to go with the right-hand side of righteousness so that we can serve Yahweh Hashem Yahushua in the kingdom of heaven. And not be like you niggas who gonna fold as soon as they start rolling that thing out. That RFID CHIP. So, yeah, man, the times we're coming upon on the earth, man, is going to catch a lot of people off guard. Because you have people like that, you know, false prophets, and it's going to continue to multiply. You're going to have more and more people saying shit like that. All right, so now that I've covered that first part, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. So, covered that. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. So let me see. Let me get this real quick. Okay, kind of. Oh, actually, yeah, I could go into that. Jacob's trouble. Okay, in all history, there has never been such a time of terror. It will be a time of trouble for my people, Israel. Really, you could actually just, I'm not even going to hit on that. It's even time of Dexter. You could go into the curses. Really. Deuteronomy 28. Shoot, let me go to Matthew 24. Because ultimately it's going to affect Jake the worst. But everyone on earth is going to be affected by these things. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am a Mashiach, and shall deceive many. Ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass. But the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences, and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrow. So we're already past the beginning of sorrows, because we've already seen, like I've said, we've heard of rumors of wars. There's wars going on all around the world. Nations rising against nations, kingdoms rising against kingdoms. You have famines going on. There's famines in Sudan, Gaza. You have wars going on, Ukraine, Russia. War going on in Syria. You got war going on in Israel, Palestine, all these different things. You have pestilences coming on earth daily. HMPV, H5N1, norovirus. The list goes on. And we have more to see too. Because in about a week, they saying it's going to be supposedly, quote unquote, like I say, take everything that Esau Edom says with a grain of salt. There's going to be more pestilences that they're going to unleash. And earthquakes all over. Did I not just do a lesson on earthquakes yesterday? Because they keep on coming up on the earth. It's non-stop judgment. Then they shall deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And that's talking about who? The Israelites. More importantly, the elect. Because we know what it says in the scriptures. Ye have been hated for my name's sake. Wait, Salaki. Damn. They hated you because they knew me not. Damn, Salaki. Let me see. Actually, I might be able to cross-reference this. Nope. Hated for my name's sake. Okay. This is Matthew chapter 10 and verse 19. But when they deliver you up, take no thought how or what ye shall say, shall speak, for it shall be given you in that same hour where ye shall speak. You know why? Because we're going to be persecuted. They're going to chase us. They're going to try and kill us. They're going to try and banish us. For it is not, and we're going to have to flee. We're going to be on the run. For it is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you. And the brother shall deliver up the brother to death, and the father the child, and the children shall rise up against their parents and cause them to be put to death. That's all a part. All these things are going to come to pass in Jacob's trouble. Ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that endureth to the end shall be saved. When they persecute you in this city, flee ye into another. For verily I say unto you, ye shall not have gone over the cities of Israel till the Son of Man become. See? So, Let me go ahead and go back to that. Is that 24? I can go back to this is Jeremiah 30 and 7. Actually, let me see. For none of those, this is Revelation 2 and 10. For none of those things which thou shalt suffer, behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. But be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. And that's talking about the hopeful elect. So let me go back to Jeremiah. Slovakia. Give me a moment. Bob the Shaw. Slovakia. I can't find that. Let me get this though. And let me finish this. It says, but he shall be saved out of it. So, who will be saved out of Jacob's trouble? Let's see. Matthew 24. And it reads, this is Matthew 24 and 29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man. Who is the Son of Man? Yahushua. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. So like I said, there are people mourning right now. Not like how they're going to be mourning when the day of trouble comes, though. There are some people right now. But when the day of trouble comes, nigga, all people going to be weary. Besides the hopeful elect. They're going to be weary in that day. And it speaks on that in 2nd Esdras. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And what are those clouds? The chariots. We've been seeing chariots all over recently. And chariot sightings all over, man. Chariots were going crazy at the end of 2024, man. Crazy, man. They were letting it be known. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. So, let me get this. In the NLT, immediately after the anguish of those days, the sun will be darkened, the moon will give no light, the stars will fall from the sky, and the powers in the heavens will not be shaken, or will be shaken, Shalaki, and the powers in the heavens will be shaken. And then, at last, the sign that the Son of Man is coming will appear in the heavens, and there will be deep mourning among all the peoples of the earth, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he will send out his angels with the mighty blast of a trumpet, and they will gather his chosen ones from all over the world, from the furthest ends of the earth and heaven. And after the elect is gathered up, that's when the end gonna come. That's when those missiles are gonna get shot over. That's when the great destruction is gonna happen. Let me get this as well. This is another precept to back this one up about who's gonna be saved in that day. It says Zechariah chapter 13 and verse 7. Awake, O sword, against my people, against my shepherds, and against the man that is my fellow, said Yahweh of hosts, smite the shepherd, and the sheep shall be scattered. And I will turn my hand upon the little ones. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith Yahweh, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. So the 2/3, which is the wicked side of Jacob, they're going to be cut off and die on this side. And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. Bro, is this car gonna fucking pass, bro? Salakia. And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. So refining meaning what? I was about to say, why is this so big? To smelt, refine, test. So like I said, that's the ultimate test. It's Jacob's trouble, the ultimate test, the hour of temptation. We'll try them as gold to try it. They shall call on my name. So that's just showing you right there that the names are important. It is important to know the true names of the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son. Because if you don't know the names, if you don't know the Lord's name, actually, Salaki, if you don't know the names in general, how are you going to be able to call upon them? And I will hear them, and I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, Yahweh is my God. So that's just saying who's going to be saved in that day. The remnant, the 1/3, and the first fruits, the 144,000. Those are the only ones who will have salvation in that day, who will receive salvation. So let me go back to, this is Jeremiah 30 and 8. For it shall come to pass in that day, saith Yahweh of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. And in the NLT, for in that day, says Yahweh of heaven's armies, I will break the yoke from their necks and snap their chains. Foreigners will no longer be their masters. So let's just see. First and foremost, actually, let me get this real quick. I have two precepts that's gonna back this up. We go to Deuteronomy chapter 28. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which Yahweh shall send against thee. So people always say, "And why the Lord allow this to happen? Where's the Lord in doing slavery? Why is all these things happening on the earth? It ain't no God. I know my God wouldn't do nothing like that." Shut up, nigga. It clearly says right here the reason why we were under the curses in the first place. If you read Deuteronomy 28, actually, I'm not even going to say that. Because if you read it and the Lord is not dealing with you, you still won't understand. And this is plain upon tables. It's very clear. But I'll just say this for the sake of the video. If you read, it explains why the Lord did this to us. Because we did it to ourselves. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which Yahweh shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. So I want to get the definition of this real quick. A yoke. Actually, I'm not even going to get the definition. Let's just read it in NLT. You will serve your enemies whom Yahweh will send against you. You will be left hungry, thirsty, naked, and lacking in everything. I recall, isn't that how they brought us over here in the slave ships? We were naked, bunched up together, thirsty and hungry. We had to fight for every piece of food. And a lot of us died on them ships. Yahweh will put an iron yoke on your neck, oppressing you harshly until he has destroyed you. Especially the 2/3. Yeah. We're not under captivity still, brother. Okay, nigga. Yoke of iron. This is the shit they had on us when they brought us over. And remember now, you're not gonna see an Amalekite person with none of this on. So again, I ask you, how could they be the Lord's chosen people? And they don't have no history of having yokes of iron on their neck. They're not going to have an answer for that. We the ones that's under the curses. Not Esau, Edom. Us. Look, that's us right there. That's us. Yahweh shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, a nation of fierce kindness, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor shew favor to the young. He shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thy kind, or flocks of thy sheep, until he have destroyed thee. So they took everything we had. They came from a different nation, or from a different country. And this is being told before it even happened, because we came from Israel and was sold into slavery through the Africans, the Hamites, and the Arabs, the Ishmaelites, and they sold us into slavery to Esau, Edom, on the west coast of Africa. And we went to a far land that we did not know of, which is America. Now let's skip down to verse 68. And let me first start at verse 69, Salaki. In the morning thou shalt say with the Most High power, it were even. And at even thou shalt say with the Most High power, it were morning. For the fear of thine heart, wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes, which thou shalt see. And Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. So, let's stop right there. Actually, let me continue reading. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Let me get in the NLT. In the morning you will say, if only it were night. And in the evening you will say, if only it were morning. For you will be terrified by the awful horrors you see around you. Then Yahweh will send you back to Egypt in ships, to a destination I promised you would never see again. There you will offer to see, or Salaki, there you will offer to sell yourselves to your enemies as slaves, but no one will buy you. Now, the NLT right there does a good job of tripping people up, because they'll read that as being sold into slavery and not being purchased. But no man shall buy you, meaning no man will save you from the land of your captivity. And Jake will also read that as, we're going to go back into Egypt on ships. We're going to go back over there. And then, no, nigga. No. This is spiritual Egypt. We're still over here. Well, we don't still have yokes of iron on our neck. Well, have we been bought? Have we went back to the Holy Land? Have we went back to the land of milk and honey? No. Are we still over in the land of bondage that we got sold into slavery in? Yes. So that would mean that prophecy has not come to pass yet, to where we have been bought. We've been saved. We have not been saved yet. Salaki. So let me go back to verse. Let me go back to Jeremiah. Because it's about to answer this question. No man will buy you. It's about to answer this question. We're not. Well, I'm going to say this. Esau Edom freed us quote unquote, but we are still slaves to the beast system. We're still uh, in spiritual bondage. That's why it says depart from Egypt, meaning spiritually, not leave and go back home to Israel. No, spiritually leave that place. Or Salaki, I'm not sure if it's a depart from Egypt. Depart from this world. So I can't remember off the top of my head. But it says somewhere in the scripture depart. Let me see. I wanna make sure I'm speaking correctly. I believe it's depart from Egypt. Well, Salaki. Let me see. It says, I will break, for it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Yahweh of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. For in that day, says Yahweh, will break the yoke from their necks and snap their chains. So, like I said, we are slaves to the beast system. The system is being ran by who? The Amalekites, the Ish people, and Esau, Edom. And we're still under bondage. We don't literally have yokes of iron on our neck, but we're still in bondage. We still have to pay taxes. We still have to, you know what I'm saying, do these daily things. Go to work. Pay child support. Things of that nature. We're still slaves to the beast system. Esau, Edom is still raping and robbing us. Raping and robbing us. We're still under the curses. Still flooding our streets with guns and drugs. All of that stuff. Like, that's a part of the curses. So don't tell me that we're not still in captivity. We still have to go through this shit. Right? Foreigners will no longer be their masters. So foreigners are still ruling over us. Like I just said, the Ish people and Esau Edom. So that hasn't come to pass yet. But they shall serve wait, let me see. Salaki. Khan. Okay. But they shall serve Yahweh, the Most High Power, and David, their king, whom I will raise up unto them. So, has David or Yahweh Shah Salak, Yahweh Shah and David been appointed king yet of the earth? No. They have been appointed king yet because we're not in the kingdom of heaven. Kingdom of heaven has not been established on earth. For my people will serve Yahweh, their God, and their king descended from David. King I will raise up for them. Therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob. And Jacob is when it says Jacob, it's not talking about our forefather Jacob. It's talking about Jacob as in his descendants, all of his descendants that are on earth. Therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith Yahweh, neither be dismayed, O Israel. For lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return and shall be in rest and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. So, remember we just read, no man shall buy thee. Yahweh is not a man. Now, of course, we know that And when I mean man, I mean not a man, like a human. And let me get going to that word Salaki so I don't confuse nobody. Or I can't even go into that, but no man shall buy thee. But Yahweh is going to be the one who saves us through his son, Yahweh Shai. So it says, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. So we're still in the land of our captivity. So that hasn't come to pass yet. And Jacob shall return and shall be in rest and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. So actually, let me get this real quick. That just made me think of. Is that it? I think that's where it said. No, Salaki. I want to get. Hmm. No, it is fine. Let me go back to. I don't want to go too deep in it because you get too deep and then you start confusing people. Just keep it simple. Let me read it in NLT. So do not be afraid, Jacob, my servant. Do not be dismayed, Israel, says Yahweh. For I will bring you home again from distant lands. So we have not returned to the Holy Land. We're not returned home. We're still in the land where we are still captives. And your children will return from their exile. Israel will return to a life of peace and quiet, and no one will terrorize them. For I am with thee, saith Yahweh, to save thee. Though I make a full end of all nations which I have scattered thee, yet will I not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee in measure, and will not leave thee altogether unpunished. So in NLT, for I am with you and will save you, says Yahweh. I will completely destroy the nations where I have scattered you. But I will not completely destroy you. I will discipline you, but with justice. I cannot let you go unpunished. So we're going to be disciplined in that day during Jacob's trouble. But it's not, well, for at least for the elect, it's not going to be punishment, or we're not going to be given tests that's going to be too hard for us to overcome, if that makes sense. We're going to be tried, but it's not going to be nothing that the Lord's not going to give us a test that he doesn't think we're going to pass. He's not going to give us a task that's going to be too hard for us to handle. Because if that was the case, the Lord wouldn't, he would be a merciless God, and he's not. The Lord shows mercy. He's showing mercy right now. We're in a grace period. So, let me get this. I have a couple precepts to pull up. Revelation 13:10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Oh, Salaki, let me read verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. So who led us into captivity? Esau Edom, the so-called white man. So that would mean this scripture would apply to them as well. And Arabs. And Hamites, which are the Africans. But more so Esau Edom. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity, because they going to be, you're going to see why they going to be affected by this scripture more. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Esau, Edom's blessing is the sword. They've mastered the sword in this kingdom. The sword representing now was the sword, the gun. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. And the saints are Israelites. So, let me see. And then let me get this. For Yahweh, this is Isaiah 14:1. For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob. Didn't I just say that? And will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. The other nations going to cleave unto us. They're going to serve us. And the people shall take them. First of all, I want to say this. This is, number one, this truth is bad news for anyone who's not an Israelite. But it's good news for anyone who is an Israelite. Because even if you 2/3, the Lord's still gonna have mercy on you in the kingdom of heaven. Even though you're gonna perish on this side, Lord willing, we be at that number and we be saved and not have to perish. But you're still gonna be all right in the kingdom of heaven. You're gonna be better off than the heathens are. I can say that for sure. So it's not a bad thing that this kingdom is coming to an end. We're reaching the end of our captivity, nigga. You want, but hey, like my like the scriptures say, man. You brought us out of Egypt to go into the wilderness and die. We'd rather go back and be slaves in Egypt. Them same spirits are on the earth today. These niggas are comfortable and okay with this way of life. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, who captives they were. And they shall rule over their oppressors. Oh, man. Gotta read that again. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were. So who led us into captivity again? Esau, Edom. So those who led us into captivity, they're going to be our captives in the kingdom. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were. And they shall rule over their oppressors. So those who oppressed us, we're going to rule over them. And not just Esau, Edom, because they're not the only nation who oppressed us. And I'm going to read it in LT. Let me read down to verse 4. And it shall come to pass in the day that Yahweh shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve. Then we just read in Jeremiah 30 and verse 10, that we're not gonna be in fear no more. But we're not that prophecy hasn't come to pass yet. We're still in hard bondage. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, spiritual Babylon, well, Salakia, Babylon the Great, it's America, and say, how hath the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased. And the king of Babylon right now, is Donald Trump. But really, he's a puppet. The higher ups, elites, are really the ones who control the world. Those people who you know what I'm saying, we don't know their names. Those people don't know who they is. Up there. But Yahweh will have mercy on the descendants of Jacob. He will choose Israel as his people, as his special people once again. He will bring them back to settle once again in their own land. And people from many different nations will come and join them and unite with the people of Israel. They're going to be living under our rulership. So like the nations of the world will help Yahweh's people to return. Or so like the nations of the world will help Yahweh's people to return. They're going to build our kingdom up. And those who come to live in their land will serve them. Those who capture Israel will themselves be captured. And Israel will rule over its enemies. In that wonderful day, when Yahweh gives his people rest from sorrow and fear from slavery and chains, you will taunt the king of Babylon. You will say, the mighty man has been destroyed. Yes, your insolence is ended. Let me get verse 9. 13 and 9. Isaiah 13 and 9. Behold, the day of Yahweh cometh cruel both with wrath and fierce anger to lay the land desolate. He shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. So, not everyone will be saved. Not everyone will be saved in the day of Yahweh's wrath. A lot of people are going to perish, man. Lots of people are going to perish. Okay, cool. All right, so the water for bearing with me. This is the last precept I have to pull up for today's lesson. I'm going to end it off with this. So, let me find it. Baruch chapter 2 and verse 30. This is Baruch chapter 2 and verse 30. Or so let me start at verse 29. If you will not hear my voice, surely this very great multitude shall be turned into a small number among the nations where I will scatter them. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves, and shall know that I am Yahweh, their God. For I give them a heart and ears to hear. And they shall praise me in the land of their captivity and think upon my name. And that's what we're doing right now. Yahweh Hashem Shot the water. And return from their stiff neck and from their wicked deeds. For they shall remember the way of their fathers which sinned before Yahweh Hashem Shah. And I will bring them again into the land which I promised with an oath unto their fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And they shall be lords of it. And I will increase them, and they shall not be diminished. And I will make an everlasting covenant with them to be their God. And they shall be my people. And I will no more drive my people of Israel out of the land that I have given them. In the kingdom of heaven, that kingdom that we're going to be dwelling in, going to dwell there forever and ever, man. And it's so beautiful to think of. So beautiful to think of, man. We're going to dwell there forever and ever. It's going to be a beautiful sight. Lord willing, we have that number, man. Lord willing, we at Alpha Lake. Babkasha. So, Lord willing, the lesson was edifying to you all out there watching and listening. Call halal Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem HaKakodash. Once again, double blessings and honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Taught us the truth through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And until next time, I say Shalom, Israel. Shalom.